Welcome back to our coverage of the Halo 5 Pro Series. We've got Power, we've got Mockit. Both these teams, Power have won a competition before, and Mockit have made it to the finals before. So this is surely going to throw up some doubly lovely, delightful action. Harry, what way do you see it going?
On paper, you look at this Power roster, right? Snipedrone, Kimbo, Mose, Jimbo. We've seen them perform, internationally in the past. It's hard to write them off, but based on what we've seen from Mockit in the last series, they've made some notable improvements from previous weeks. So now's the real test for them. I'm going to sit firmly on the fence because I don't know which way this is going to go. If you had to push me, I would say Power because you can't bet against their pedigree and their previous results. But if Mockit want to compete with the top going into the season finals next week, they need to take a scalp. And if they can catch Power off guard in game one, maybe they take a game three, a game two. All of a sudden you're pushing this and extending this series into the game fours, the game fives, and that's where you could maybe sneak a series away from Power. But I would like to say Power will win this quite handedly, but Mockit have proven that they came out here to play.
Yeah, one of the boys says they need to take a scalp, and that will definitely take our attention as they up against Power, and if they can get the best of them, that will set us up for a lovely final. Either way, these teams will be meeting up against Cartel, and like we said before, they're the kryptonite for EU Halo, as nobody seems to be able to take them down. Nobody has the answers to the questions they pose. Precisionite got the overshield, it has now just wasted, so early signs looking good for Mockit as they start off this game.
Yeah, both power-ups going in Mockit's favor as Looney is able to grab the camouflage as well. Spilly's Game Pass quest is ready to hand in. Don't know if you guys catch that one, so I know what producer Spilly's going to be doing straight after this stream. But either way, Looney's doing such a great job, by the way, this week, staying alive with power-ups. I noticed that, as I say that, he goes down, but I noticed it on Truth earlier on. A couple of weeks ago, I was lamenting him for playing very recklessly with camouflage. He seems to have amended that this week, and I've been very impressed to see exactly how differently he's played with the power-ups, and it's making a tangible difference on his team's gameplay as they lead Power here 12-5. Now for Jimbo and Co, it's about trying to break this setup and get the kills, certainly in favor of them towards the 30 seconds time region, because both power-ups are going to be coming up on the map, and if you can keep Mockit on the death screen, keep them on spawn, having to scramble towards those, and you're in the advantageous positions as they take control for a moment. In fact, they're going to keep it here as well. Then you're going to be able to grab the power-ups and make life so much more difficult here for Mockit. So a very, very key moment of the game here. Keep an eye on the kill feed in terms of which way the kills go. Currently 1-for-1 traded, as there is a player here just waiting for Jimbo to try and take this stronghold. Big fight to win here if you're Squashy, but Jimbo's just keeping this player occupied. In fact, it's Power who have decided to push for the second capture instead of going for the power-ups. Off-screen, Batchford, I've just seen, has grabbed the camouflage. Power have gone 2 down. This is actually kind of self-destructed on Jimbo and Power here, because Batchford's got the camouflage. Off-screen, Precisionite and Co are fighting towards the overkill, and it looks like they're going to be able to grab that one. 2 dead again here for Power. That's a really strange misplay, going for the stronghold instead of the power-ups. I'm not sure that one worked how they intended to.
Yep, that is 4 power-ups off the rip going towards Mockit, and that's a misplay from Power. These veterans, they know better than that to just donate the power-ups towards Mockit, and to be fair, they're still winning the game at the moment. Of course, Mockit now scoring, but it looked as though that all started from Jimbo and Squashy. Squashy was baiting that base, and he then called over some more members of Power to assist Jimbo, and because of that, the dominoes fell. And it was free power-ups then.
It wasn't necessary, was it? Yeah. There was no need for 3 power players to come and help Jimbo with Squashy, and they just gave up all map control. You're absolutely right, Richie.
Yeah, and as we now see, Jimbo in a fight towards bottom middle, and Mockit now lose that second base, and they will lose the points as well. This gunfight, Looney almost loses Jimbo in the clouds off screen, but Jimbo still fighting bottom middle, doing a great job tussling, keeping the score and making himself a really difficult kill, kept himself alive, and now because of that, Power still have this bottom mid hill and are still scoring points, and Mockit need to start asking some questions.
Yeah, Jimbo, one of the best players in Europe at staying alive when things get frantic. We saw it there. 3 members of Mockit required to take him down. They all came in from the same angle, which is a little unorthodox, as Squashy will finally be taken down. Gets a trade onto Kimbo, though. That's about the best situation you could ask for out of that kind of gunfight. Looney with 2 kills again. Snipe Drone responding in kind with 2 of his own. And bottom middle here, the pit stronghold is about to go into Power's favor, but Mockit, they get the reset. They need to be careful here not to overextend and cost more deaths into this stronghold. Otherwise, Mose and Jimbo are going to work together to secure it. They do exactly that. Camouflage should be up around now. I wonder if Mose is going to be able to grab this one away. Just going to scroll through the points of view to see if anyone scooped that one away. Well, yeah, there you go.
Batchford has the camouflage, but finally Power have gotten the overshield, and Batchford immediately deciding to get out of dodge. Does not need to take the fight with that player, so a heads up play from him. Put a little bit of damage down, and then overshield player, of course, gets away. But still, now Kimbo has the overshield, Batchford has the camouflage. That is the first power up in the game. For Power, he stuck him in the back, takes him down to no overshield, so Kimbo not really able to utilize that overshield at all. Batchford does lose the camo in turn to Kimbo, and maybe, just maybe, that is a misplay from Batch.
Yeah, it's essentially a trade of the power-ups, isn't it? Because you know the camo player costs his own life to get the stick. I think ideally he would have liked the back smack there, but if he goes for it, doesn't get the lunge, then Kimbo just turns around and takes him down. So settles for the stick, takes all the overshield off. Snipe Drone here is hasn't had too much airtime, but has been putting in the kills here for Power, and you can see why with individual shots like that. That's 5 kills in a row before going down. And all the while, Power have been in control of this map. Haven't seen total control in either favor, which has been really good to see, honestly. Oftentimes we'll see Power kind of sneak away that third stronghold from under the feet of the opposition and just run away with total control from there. But Mockit have done a really nice job, actually, of trading these kills constantly. It's 2 for 2, 1 for 1, and making sure they are, you know, keeping their wits about them. But they need to steal one of the strongholds back at least from Power, because here we go. This is the push now to try and steal that third and final stronghold away from the enemy team.
The early stages of the game were frantic, it was hectic, but now a little bit more control for Power as they start to assert their dominance. Still scoring all the while. Mockit were trying to get that side base, but still two bases in favour of Power as Batchford takes down Mose. And there's just bodies hitting the floor left and right. Looney's inside red base, but he is subsequently taken down by Snipe Drone, who last week made my team of the week. He had the highest accuracy of anybody in the competition. And here's Kimbo now, scoops up the overshield into his chest as well off screen. Snipe Drone, who's still staying alive, making himself a really difficult kill. And he's going to go head first into the action. Kimbo now takes the side base. Snipe Drone comes to help him as well. That's 4 dead.
That's it. That's, I hate to call it. We saw it in the kill feed that Kimbo beat down back smack on Precision Knight. That was overshield onto camouflage. You'd love for that to be the other way around if you were Mockit, but Precision Knight with the camouflage goes down, and this is what we were talking about, this total control from Power. They do stem the bleeding, but look at how many points are needed here for Power to win the game. 5 points to go. Mockit need a couple of kills here, and they need that pit stronghold, and it's going to be a big scrap to end the game here. But Jimbo in such a good position off screen to get the perfect onto Looney. Kimbo will help him out there as well. Mose just needs to keep things scrappy, and there we go. A very, very tight, for a moment, game 1 until that total control came in from Power, and Mockit, they lose game 1 and find themselves all the way down into game number 2.
All the excuse the pun, Power was in control at the end for Jimbo, Kimbo, Mose, and Snipe Drone as they got that overshield, and when it mattered most, Kimbo able to scoop up into his chest and really turn that into some scoring on the board. The camouflage just not able to do enough, and we always say that when towards the latter stages of the game, you want to try and prioritize the overshield. It's able to do a little bit more business towards the latter stages, and it matters more because the camouflage can't be as sneaky, because if you're down in stronghold, you're losing points all the while you're trying to make sneaky plays and trying to get behind the enemy team. But they have overshield, they're just running into and doing whatever they want. But we touch upon the stats. Jimbo 10, 15, and 10, most assists in the game. It's great work from him. 14 kills and 10 deaths for Kimbo. The stats across the board for Power pretty even, and although Mockit weren't really heavily outslayed in that game, just the movement and when it mattered most, the heads-up play from the veteran players of Power, they were able to get the job done, Wonderboy.
Yeah, 3 takeaways from the stats board as we move into a game 2. It's another Truth Slayer. We had this in the last series, right? So
Yep.
we're going to run it back here on Truth. But Jimbo, with those stats that you mentioned, really, really nice, because considering he was top of the board as well in terms of captures. Snipe Drone was putting in some great stats, but Squashy was the man who was just the odd one out on Mockit. Would love to see him turn his fortunes around and in turn turn his team's fortunes around here on game 2. Here on Truth Slayer. It's all about the camouflage and it's all about fighting over map control. Looks like Batchford burned the camouflage for Mockit, so no camo in play for the first 2 minutes. We're going to see both teams try and vie for some map control now in this sort of second phase of the game.
I tell you something that scares me, Wonderboy, is that of the 8 power-ups in the last game, Power only got 2, and they managed to win the game pretty handily. So if they can put on a performance like that without even needing the power-ups, that is scary. And Mockit maybe not doing enough with the power-ups themselves, or maybe Power just opting to play without them. But first camouflage has been burned by Batchford. It won't be a factor for the early stages, but 8 kills in favor, it's 8-2 in favor of Power, and they're starting off this game with a bang, and they're starting to pull away already.
You can just see the way that Power like to play this game type. They know, you trap the enemy team in the bubbles over at the Carbine Tower. You don't let them get a base under their feet, and you just keep the pressure on them. It makes it so easy. Jimbo there pushes into the base to try and prevent the base control for Mockit. Snipe Drone connects on the grenade. That means he's going to challenge Precision Knight here. Wouldn't overextend too far for this kill, because there is help in terms of Looney here pushing Snipe Drone back, and you can see him trying to play his life, but as a result, Squash is the one who has to overextend to take him out, and this could get very scrappy here over at the Carbine Tower. Jimbo taken down by Precision Knight. Moze here might just be caught unawares by the 2 Mockit players. Now Mockit are starting to fight back a little bit, but if I'm them right now, Richie, I try and move away from this side of the map. I try and move towards a base like Precision Knight is doing here, all because the camouflage is coming up in around 20 or so seconds, so they need kills to go in their favor, and they need a base right here. Looks like they're going for red.
Precision Knight got the shout that Jimbo was up in the attic. He was able to get that kill. Now looks as though he's getting comms that Kimbo's down front base and will look to put some shots in that player. Kimbo just able to evade his attentions for the moment, but camouflage is popping, and nobody on the side of Mockit seems to be in position to pick it up, as Jimbo's down there just waiting for it for free. He has, of course, popped it into his chest as well, as Squashy falls in the feed to Moze. It's a free camouflage for Power, and they had it all to do. Did Power to get that camouflage, because they were losing members over towards Car, but Mockit just not doing a good enough job, like you said, Wonderboy, of rotating over towards that camouflage. Yeah,
Jimbo was able to grab it. I wouldn't say for free. Precision Knight and Batchford, were trying to make a play on it, but the other 2 members stuck over at this Carbine side, and as we see, Moze is putting some damage down. You see in the kill feed, Jimbo get a beat down as well. He's the man with the camouflage. Also just picked up a killing spree with that double kill, and this is where things get really scary for Mockit, because Power don't feel like they're contested on the map and could just roam around freely, and when you have a player like Jimbo, who we know is so good at staying alive with camouflage as well, it makes things just so hard for Mockit. You can see them trying to push the pace, but it's confident and it's comfortable gameplay here from Power, it has to be said. Mockit just not doing enough to get off the Carbine side quickly, and the PP comes in. Triple potential here for Jimbo, finally put to rest, but it's at the expense here for Mockit. At a 12-point deficit now, and it's going to be tricky for them to come back.
Jimbo just putting on an absolute clinic. He had that plasma pistol able to EMP people's shields down, eviscerate anybody's shields, and get the clean up of the kills. And he just, with that camouflage, able to pop in and out of bases, out of sight lines, and just really great job from him with the camouflage, really utilizing it to the best he could. And it was still off the respawn, managed to get some kills. It was on board, but Snipe Drone has a fight to contend with in P2, takes down Batchford as well. And he, like we said before, Mike don't miss as he heads out towards this P side. Now contests face to face with Looney, but has help in the shape of Kimbo towards that P side, who's top middle. Kimbo gets a 5, then turns around, hits Batchford with a 5. They're just hitting everything that moves right now.
It's really showing a lack of discipline here from Mockit when they sense the game is going away. Why is Batchford sliding out, taking 1v1s against Snipe Drone? 4 of the last 4 kills for Power have been 1 versus 1 fight wins. They need to group up here. They need to stop this obsession with pushing 1v1, and it's Squashy this time the victim. Look at Batchford. He knows the game's over at this point, and I mean, you can't have that mentality at this level of gameplay from Mockit. You need to just get a grip and just try and group up wherever you can. Power do such a good job of splitting spawns, but Mockit are just making it easy for them. You can't keep pushing one by one and expect to win the game, Richie. It's just not going to happen.
Yep, all those kills for Snipe Drone, they were the easiest kills in the world. He was almost playing Horde mode for a moment. It looked as though, you know, some AI bots were heading towards him. Every player just taking individual fights. Up came Squashy, up came Batchford, and every time Snipe Drone was just giving them the business and handling them. That P side was his base, it was his home, but all because maybe someone is tilted, maybe their heads are gone on the other side, but they're still in a series here. They can come back, but they have lost the Slayer 50-25. That is a stake, and if Nathan was around, he'd be asking, how do you like it? And he likes it medium rare, but 50 kills to 25, and just not what you want to see from Mockit. And we expected to see much, much better from them in the Slayer, but like we said, their heads have to be well and truly gone there.
Yeah, you look at the stats here, you think big game from Jimbo, you know, the plus 12 spread over the kills and deaths, but the standout for me is Kimbo. 14 kills, 13 assists. I mean, that's a, you know, 27 of the 50 kills contributed towards by himself. So really, really nice game from him. Snipe Drone, you know, up there as well with the assists, as we expect him to put damage down, you know, keeping the deaths low as well. We just need to see Mockit, you know, gain a bit of game maturity and game sense. You can, you know, say Batchford are 5 and 15, Squashy 5 and 13. You can't do that, you know, those kind of stats and expect to win. But also, there's a stage of the game where you're kind of throwing the game. You're just saying, right, you know, we don't care about stats anymore. Let's just get this game over with. We saw that from Squashy. We saw it from Batchford. We saw it from Looney, Precision Eye, all trying to play solo. You cannot play by yourself and expect to gain areas of the map at this level of play by yourself. You have to wait. You have to try and group up. And it just screams a lack of maturity there from Mockit. Credit to Power, you know, we're harping on about how bad Mockit played and how they weren't able to group up and you know, keep their mentality, but a tremendous game played by Power. I mean, they split the map so perfectly. Once they knew Mockit was spawning and were vulnerable over at the Carbine side, they collapsed instantly. Really nice play from Power going into this game 3.
Yeah, it has to be said, we're harping on about how Mockit need to be better. They need a little bit more game maturity, but much of that is down to how good Power played and how much pressure they put on them and just maintained all dominance across the map. It seemed to be, it stemmed from Jimbo's play with the camouflage. Ever since then, it all sort of went downhill for Mockit, and they could never really get themselves back into shape and back into order. And because of that, Power just took the game by the scruff of its neck and just never let go, just kept the foot on the gas. And as we head in towards CTF on Fathom, I really hope they can mentally reset, because obviously, like we said, the heads were gone in that last game. They just started throwing. They believed the game was over, and because of that, they trust sliding into P2, getting taken down in these one-on-one engagements, and now they need to reset. They can still make a series of this. If they win this game now, we go to a game 4, and before you know it, they could have a reverse sweep in their hands. But to start this game good and not take any of that baggage from the previous 2 games into this game on Fathom Flag. Let's see what they can do. Can they bounce back?
First time casting Fathom Flag for me for about 2 or 3 years or something like that. So back when I used to commentate this game type, the meta used to be block silo, run the flag bottom middle, and supplement that with some top middle control as Looney burns the camouflage early doors. We'll have to see if the meta's changed, you know, a couple of years into Halo 5's lifespan. No camouflage in play as we saw Looney burn that. On Jimbo's point of view, you can see Moses grab the railgun, and let me tell you, one of my first memories of playing alongside or with Mose was in Halo 4 on Haven, and he said, 1v1 me, bro, 1v1 me, it'll be fun. And he went top middle, grabbed the railgun, sat behind a ramp, and just waited for me to appear, and then popped up and railgunned me in the face. So hopefully Mose can see more success, similar to the success he saw against me in those Halo 4 1 versus 1s. As I'm talking though, good stand from Mockit in their own base, and Batchford, I love this direct gameplay, getting into the enemy's gen, make them turn around and play on the back foot. First kill in the team fight goes to Squashy as well, so that might just set Batchford on his way here, and he's going to elect to run it towards the enemy player, who is Mose around this corner. Isn't made weak enough though by Squashy, and a good win by Mose.
A question I have, Mose promised you fun when you played on Fathom and he had the railgun. Did you have fun, or were you lied to?
It's one of those where you say GG, but it wasn't a GG.
Yeah,
it was a BG.
BG.
It was a BG.
BG is not like the band, as Kimbo gets taken down in his window. This is great from Mockit. There's 3 members of Power down. Let's push forward. Let's get this flag out. Let's put Power under some pressure. Squashy gets another kill onto Jimbo. He now thrust slides towards the elbow. Pressure is well and truly on the Power base. Let's turn this into a cap. Let's get this game flowing.
Yeah, the problem with this situation here for Squashy is that he has the enemy team over on the silo, and when you spawn silo here on Fathom, it's such an easy rotate with such good cover towards the enemy base, and Batchford here picking up the railgun along the way of running the flag, and off of Squashy's screen, Mose was trying to run the flag and keep the play alive here for Power, but Looney has grabbed a double. Big kills from him. Could be a triple here as Kimbo's caught off guard, and actually those shots push Kimbo off of top middle and allows Looney to grab the second camouflage of the game. The first one was burned by him. The second one is in full effect, and a huge play from Looney. Not only gets the double and the killing spree, gets the return to secure the capture for Mockit, and Looney is on an absolute roll right here.
More of that from you, Looney. More of that. Terrific play, recognizing that flag was no longer being defended. He can drop down, get the re, and as those 2 Power players scrambled and realized the flag was getting returned, it was too little too late. The flag goes home. They go up 1-0, all because of that play with the camouflage. And lovely bit of stuff out of Looney. Action goes back and forth as now Power have a flag pull of their own, and they've made it over towards that silo area. And like Harry said before, if you can get over there, there's some lovely natural cover, and you become a really difficult kill with the flag. As the flag now gets moved towards the base, and look at that, just like that, counter cap 1-1. Looney's great play cancelled out immediately by Power.
Yeah, 1-1 now. Game on. Camouflage not up for another minute or so, and Kimbo fighting around top middle. You love to see that top middle control on Fathom. You can see so much of the map, especially with the railgun. Batchford didn't have a hope in hell of winning that fight against the railgun player with elevation advantage as well. Keeping it scrappy though, a Mockit, and what I mean when I say keeping it scrappy, it means, you know, they're trading in the team fight and making it difficult in areas of the map for the enemy team to advance on the flag. You can see there Batchford able to take down Snipe Drone, who was trying to run the flag himself. Good positioning there from Squashy, but unfortunately cannot do enough damage to Kimbo. The overextension from the silo has come in though. That's a killing spree flag joust for Kimbo. Could get 2 in a row here from Batchford as well. He's just going to overextend for this return and make things difficult for Batchford. And as a result, that flag's still on the move. Batchford tried his best to extend the play, but this should be a flag capture, and it is now for Mockit, as camouflage should be popping fairly soon.
I like that play from Kimbo, recognizing that he got in the flag where he needed to go, and then realizing after he got that kill onto Squashy that he was the only man in position to really put some pressure on Batchford, who was down to no shields. Opposite drops the flag, heads in, gets the cleanup onto Batchford, and gets the flag returned, and allowing his teammates, putting trust and faith in his teammates off the respawn to get a touch on that flag and bring it home. So great work out of Kimbo, who is finally taken down, but now it looks as though Mockit have a counter cap opportunity of their own here, and yes they do. 2-2, they tie up the game.
Okay, we got a game. And it comes off the back of another impact double kill from Looney. He's really just coming into his prime in Halo, in Europe, in the European scene, it has to be said. Looney's been one of those fringe players for so long, but it's really starting to put Power to the sword here on Fathom as we watch a intense fight between Batchford and a Power player. The flag on the move though for Power. They're looking to put the flag in. The final flag in. Kimbo's actually run this top middle. He's thrown it into the gen. Can turn and fight now. It doesn't matter though, as the final flag put in. A frantic Fathom flag. Game 3 goes to Power. They will win the series 3-0. Oh, I need to catch the breath. That was crazy.
I'm so used to seeing Fathom flag be a little bit tentative, a little bit negative, as both teams play more defense than offense. And anytime a flag gets pulled out, you see your flag get pulled out. As you said, you spawn those teammates, those enemy teams towards the silo, and then they have such easy territory to get into your flag and pull your flag out. And because even though you have, in a particular moment of time, you have some sort of dominance on the map, it can always be flipped because you get a kill and they spawn silo. But just like that, flag goes in, and it was counter caps left and right, Harry, to a point now where we see Power take the game.
Yeah, we expect that out of a team with the caliber of player like Power do. I said at the top of the series, if I had to bet which way it was going to go, I would say it would go Power's way. A couple of takeaways from the series. Mockit, they need to look back on their mistakes in game two, the Slayer. Just overextending 1v1 and 1x1, trying to take those fights against the team, which has arguably the four best individuals in Europe. The only other player I could think of would be Respectful, who I believe this is actually his team. I believe Power is his roster, and Jimbo is just standing in for these tournaments. So when Respectful gets back all guns blazing, you expect this Power team to be near impossible to take in 1v1 engagement. So you need to rethink your approach if you mock it in that game 2 Slayer. They can take positives in the fact that Looney has really stepped up. With the arrival of Precisionite, Looney has come into his own. Batchford, we saw glimpses of greatness from him. We expect him to put stats up and put strong performances on the map, but they need to rethink their game plan. When they go down in games, they can't afford to lose their heads and fall into those silly habits that we saw them fall into.
Yeah, you touched upon how when Respectful decides he's going to pick up the pad again, how this is his roster: Snipe, Drone, Mose, and Kimbo. If you're Jimbo, what way do you feel about that? I mean, you've done an incredible job. You haven't put a single hair out of place. You've played impeccably throughout all the tournaments. Is this a case where you feel a little bit upset, or what do you think this was the situation that was brought to him from the very start, that he was told he was just going to be a fill-in for Respectful?
Yeah, I think he would know. He would know the type of role he's falling into on this team. He knows it's Respectful's team.
Yeah.
You would hope that with some good performances, you would maybe take the seat away from him. But we know how good Respectful is, and he was easily the breakout player of the entire Halo 5 season. From his days on Dignitas to his days on Fabi, he was probably the most scary player to face 1v1 in a game of Halo 5. So we expect that to be the case in Infinite. So to take a seat away from a player like that is always going to be tricky.
Yeah.
I would just be in it for the memories. Don't be sad because it ended. Smile because it happened. If you're Jimbo.
Yeah, well, one thing that is scary to anybody that's watching, that means that Jimbo at some point in the future will be a free agent. So any of these rosters that are looking to improve, and we know how EU Halo works, and when a player like that becomes available, dominoes happen, roster mania happens, Harry. So it's only a matter of time before maybe even Jimbo decides he's going to build his own roster from the ground up and put his own stamp on it. So instead of him being a substitute, he'll have his own hands on something that belongs to him almost. So that'd be interesting to see. We're going to take a short break before we get the grand final set up, which is the lobby is getting put together very quickly. So we shouldn't be away for much long. What's that? The sentence is that much long. We shouldn't be away for much long time. We shouldn't be away for much long time at all. So get yourself situated, get yourself buckled up. We'll be back in a few short moments.